Mike Tyson says that he's ready to box Logan Paul for $100 million.
Mike Tyson has allegedly started training again ahead of a potential Logan Paul fight. Tyson in his post-fight interview was clear Logan Paul would be his perfect challenge. Many thought he was joking, but Logan himself took it seriously. And with the money on the line, could this fight potentially happen?
I think he wants money. I don't think he wants to fight.
Now, what about Logan? The younger Paul brother wasted no time in firing back. When he heard Tyson's remarks, Logan didn't hesitate. He was all in and wasn't shy about mentioning the payday he's eyeing. After all, this isn't just any fight, it's a clash with Mike Tyson, a name that commands respect and attention worldwide. But Logan wasn't just talking money. He's no stranger to high-profile matches. Remember his fight with Floyd Mayweather? Here's the thing about Logan, he's not your typical boxer. Sure, his roots are in YouTube and entertainment, but he's been evolving. At 6'2", he towers over Tyson. Combine that with his younger age and stamina, and you have a fighter who believes he can do more than just hold his own against the Iron Mike.
Love you, Mike.
Same.
And I'm very nervous for you.
Thank you for caring.
I do care. I care about you.
But let's step back for a moment. Does this fight even make sense? Some would argue it's more about entertainment than real competition. Tyson at 58 is far from his prime, even though his name still carries immense weight. Logan, on the other hand, is unproven against boxers in their peak form. So is this a serious fight or just a massive payday for both men, and for fans, does that even matter?
Okay, so is anybody else super excited to watch Mike Tyson and Logan Paul fight? Mostly I just want to see Mike Tyson fight, but Logan who? Just kidding. No, in my opinion though, it's like lose-lose for Logan. If he wins, he beat up an old retired guy. And if he loses, he got beat up by an old retired guy. So he must be in this for the money. Obviously it's going to be a big-ass paycheck. I mean, who wouldn't take that? I would fight. Well, I'd fight Logan for the money. Mike Tyson,
If this fight happens, one question looms large. Can it outshine Tyson's bout with Jake Paul? That fight was a spectacle on its own, drawing millions of viewers and stirring debates about boxing's direction. But Logan is a different beast from Jake. He's bigger, bolder, and arguably more marketable. This isn't just a sequel, it's a whole new chapter.
27, and he was 58. How would that fight end up?
Well, I would never fight a 58-year-old man if I was 27.
So it wouldn't end up good if you did.
No, not at all.
And let's not forget the stakes for Logan. For him, this isn't just another fight, it's a chance to cement himself as more than a YouTuber turned boxer and step away from the wrestling for a while. A win or even a strong showing against Tyson could push his career to heights no one thought possible when he first stepped into the ring. The world would be watching. Tyson versus Logan Paul wouldn't just be a fight, it would be an event, a clash of generations, a meeting of two worlds that seem so far apart yet have found a way to collide. Would it be a classic? A spectacle? A passing of the torch? Only time will tell.
For both Mike and Jake, the bag. Like, at what point you can't... I don't know if you could say no. I said no to fighting Mike Tyson.
I'd say no.
I was offered it. And
You actually offered?
Yeah, I was offered it, but not on Netflix, and not for a big ass bag. It was just like a oh, this could be a real fight. Because I've been asked before. I'm sure you have too. Do you think you could beat Mike Tyson? And my answer was and will be yes.
Well, yeah,
I just think
now?
Yes, I just think he's too old, bro. That's crazy.
Oh, God.
He's
The thing
senile.
is, he'd be great for a round. Maybe.
This might be my last time in the ring. That's what Mike Tyson tweeted after his fight with Jake Paul. For many fans, it felt like the end of an era. Tyson, a name synonymous with boxing greatness, seemed ready to hang up his gloves for good. And honestly, it made sense. But then there's the money. The fight against Jake Paul brought Tyson a $20 million payday. Let that sink in. $20 million for a single fight. And it wasn't just the money, the fight was a spectacle. Millions tuned in worldwide, making it one of the most watched events of the year. Tyson walked out of that fight with his head high, and more importantly, without a scratch.
Rounds. Jake Paul apparently is getting $40 million. Mike Tyson only getting $20 million. I'm shocked at that. The most famous boxer alive is getting a smaller piece of the pie. I mean, they're the reported figures, but I hope that's not true. Tyson deserves an equal half of this pie, in my opinion. He's the reason they're selling out this state.
It's not just about size, though. Logan Paul brings an entirely different energy to the ring. He's brash, confident, and has already gone gone up against a legend in Floyd Mayweather. While Logan's skills are still developing, his physical advantages are undeniable. Tyson would need to dig deep into his experience and strategy to hold his own against someone like Logan. On one hand, he's a man who has earned the right to retire on his own terms. On the other hand, the allure of another massive payday and the challenge of facing someone like Logan might be too tempting to resist. The question isn't just whether Tyson will come back, it's whether he should. Could this be a final chapter that cements his legacy or a risk that overshadows it?
People are bringing it up though. He did fight in No.
Maybe if we put the two Paul brother in the arena and in the cage, lock the cage, and then maybe there's something to do there. Come on, like respect me a little bit, Steve.
Francis Ngannou didn't hold back when he spoke about Jake Paul's fight with Mike Tyson. For him, the whole thing felt wrong. Jake, in his eyes, had crossed a line by stepping into the ring with a legend whose best days were clearly behind him. Ngannou, one of the most feared fighters in combat sports, went so far as to accuse Jake of tarnishing Tyson's legacy. That fight should never have happened, Ngannou remarked, clearly frustrated. He even threw out a bold challenge. Put me in the cage with both Paul brothers and I'll still win. It was half a joke, but it carried an edge of seriousness. Ngannou wanted to make a statement. If Jake and Logan want to prove they're real fighters, they should step up against someone in their prime.
A lot of money in a fight with you.
Yeah, no, that's kind of money.
You respect what they're doing though, right? You respect what Jake's doing.
Yeah, I mean,
you do PFL with them too now.
He's working good for them. They're doing good. Remember, we are doing entertainment. And they were on Netflix, and when you subscribe Netflix, you go there for entertainment.
Ngannou isn't alone in his criticism. The boxing world has been vocal about Jake Paul's choice of opponents. Carl Froch, a former super middleweight world champion, has been one of Jake's loudest critics. Froch has repeatedly called Jake out, accusing him of dodging real competition and choosing fights that are more about hype than skill. Froch has even said he'd fight Jake himself, promising to expose him as nothing more than a sideshow act. He's a YouTuber, not a fighter. Froch once said, summing up the frustration many professional boxers feel.
He's such a big commodity. He sells tickets, he puts bums on seats, people are interested. Netflix, 30 million, come on. 74,000 now at the AT&T, not quite 80,000, is it? He's not there yet. He's getting there, but he's not quite there. He doesn't do the big crowds, does he? But he pulls in the old Bunsen burner, doesn't he, Jake Paul? So I don't think he'll hang his gloves up. There'll be a plan for Jake Paul. But I tell you what, my mobile phone won't be ringing, will it? They won't be sending me an email. They won't be contacting my agent to get a fight because they know. I ain't calling him out. I'm just letting you know that he knows, that I fucking know. If I went in there with Jake Paul, it would be an absolute mismatch. 1 round demolition job. I'd even tie one arm behind my back. And just imagine, one arm behind my back, just lining him up with this right hand and eventually levering him with a big uppercut or a big overhand dirty stinker. Put him in the El Sparko position like he's been tasered.
The backlash isn't just about Jake's fight with Tyson, it's about a pattern. Many in the boxing community believe Jake is exploiting older fighters to build his career. First, there was his bout with retired NBA star Nate Robinson, then former UFC fighter Ben Askren, and now Mike Tyson. To the purists, these fights aren't boxing, they're entertainment. They see Jake as someone who's using the sport as a platform for publicity while avoiding real challenges. And that has sparked a debate. Is Jake Paul damaging boxing's reputation, or is he just playing the game smarter than anyone else? But here's the twist. What if Jake and Logan actually took on legitimate boxers? What if they stepped into the ring with someone like Carl Froch or even Francis Ngannou? Would that silence their critics? Or would it expose them as amateurs in a sport that demands more than just confidence and a big following? It's a question that has fans and skeptics alike buzzing.
So you got the name, you got some marketing cachet, big time marketing cachet, you got skills. When we go see you fight somebody? I'm talking about somebody in their 30s. I'm talking about somebody that actually boxes professionally. Not as a striker in the UFC, not as a basketball player. Nah, nobody like that. Not some dude whose only claim to fame is that he's Tyson Fury's little brother. I need somebody that's got skills, that's got a reputation. We got to start holding Jake Paul accountable for that. Not because he can't fight, because we know he can.
The Paul brothers have built their brand on controversy, and for better or worse, it's worked. They've managed to draw massive audiences and turn boxing events into must-watch spectacles. But for how long? At some point, the gimmick might wear thin. If they want to be taken seriously, a fight against a real contender could be their only option. Mike Tyson's fight with Jake Paul wasn't what everyone expected, and it sparked plenty of debate. At 58 years old, Tyson stepped into the ring once again, but it was clear from the opening rounds that this wasn't the same fighter who once dominated the heavyweight division. His speed, which used to be his weapon of choice, had noticeably slowed. His famous power punches lacked the explosive energy fans remembered, and his stamina was a shadow of what it once was. Tyson looked winded by the later rounds, struggling to keep up with the younger and more agile Jake.
Jake, you say you want to be a serious boxer and you want to be a contender and be a title holder. When in your career are you going to actually fight a contender in your weight class and not do gimmick fights?
I think he just called Mike Tyson a gimmick.
Mike Tyson's 58 years old, or will be at the time of the fight, yes.
So
as much as I respect Mike Tyson and his...
What did you just call me again?
I didn't call you anything.
What did you call me?
I didn't call you anything.
For many fans and analysts, this was a reality check. Some expected Tyson to deliver a dominant performance, brushing off Jake like it was nothing. After all, this is a man who knocked out some of the most fearsome heavyweights in history. But time is undefeated, and the fight was a stark reminder of that. Even Tyson's legendary coordination and footwork appeared labored, drawing critiques from those who questioned whether he should have returned to the ring at all. Yet despite the critiques, Tyson managed to do what few others could: captivate an audience. Millions of fans from around the world tuned in, not necessarily for the fight itself, but for what Tyson represents. Nostalgia played a massive role. People wanted to see the Iron Mike they remembered, even if it was just a glimpse. And for those watching, it wasn't just about his performance. It was about witnessing a legend lace up his gloves one more time.
For good reason. We didn't want to see Mike get hurt. Mike's legs was not there. He said they asked him about an injury, and he said that's not an excuse, so maybe he was injured. I mean, he was walking with a cane and he was in a wheelchair a few weeks ago. I'm just glad he didn't get hurt. I'm glad Jake Paul had the respect to not go out and try to knock that man out for views and video clips. Like, he really held back, and Mike wasn't biting on that glove because he was holding back from punching Jake. He was biting on that glove because he realized he can't move the way he want to move. And that probably sucked.
For Tyson, the fight with Jake Paul wasn't just a one-off. It might have been a warm-up. A potential match with Logan Paul has started to gain traction, and this could be Tyson's chance for redemption. Logan, being bigger, stronger, and more naturally suited to Tyson's weight class, poses a different challenge than Jake. But with that challenge comes opportunity. If Tyson could step into the ring with Logan and deliver a stronger performance, it would silence the critics who doubted him after the Jake fight. It would also prove that even at 58, Tyson can still compete on his terms. More importantly, it would be a fight for the fans, a chance to see one of the greatest boxers of all time remind the world why he earned the nickname the baddest man on the planet. So the question remains, is Tyson ready for another round? Could he defy expectations once again and give Logan Paul a fight that nobody forgets? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain, Tyson still has the ability to draw a crowd, and fans would love to see him back in the ring one last time.
Day 4, it was okay. But you don't know what you got in store, baby. You got to face the God of War. And get ready, baby. Fire in the house.
Jake Paul has built a career out of being a disruptor in the boxing world, but his future is starting to look like a much tougher road, with more legitimate fighters like Artur Beterbiev and Daniel Dubois publicly calling him out. The pressure is mounting for Jake to prove himself against a real competition. Beterbiev, a light heavyweight champion with a perfect knockout record, has openly questioned Jake's credibility as a boxer. Dubois, a heavyweight contender, has done the same, challenging Jake to step into the ring with someone who's in their prime and act actively competing at a professional level. These callouts represent a major shift in how Jake is perceived. Early on, his fights with non-boxers or retired athletes were dismissed as gimmicks by the boxing community. Now, however, pro fighters are lining up to test him, but for Jake, taking on someone like Beterbiev or Dubois isn't just a challenge, it's a risk. These aren't the kind of fighters Jake has faced before. They're not here for the hype or the entertainment. They're here to win, and they know how to do it decisively. A loss against a top-tier opponent could derail Jake's momentum and call into question his ability to compete at a serious level.
I wasn't at all surprised by the result. I think Mike Tyson is a winner either way.
Jake's asked for a fight with you.
If Jake wants it with me, he can get it too. But I'm the world champion.
Yeah.
Give him a shot like that, you know.
So you'll just knock him out in the first round, within the first minute.
Of course, but it would be a historical moment, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
Never before.
The contract will state you can't knock him out. But that's what they do. Because obviously the fight, everyone knows last Saturday the fight was fixed.
But I won't take no one lightly, you know. If a man got a chance to become world champion, he would gonna go. If he's smart, he'll really go to town, go to work, and try to be the best version of himself. So
then there's the possibility of Jake chasing an even bigger name, Conor McGregor. According to Nakisa Badarian, Jake's business partner, a fight with McGregor would be the biggest payday Jake could ever land. It's easy to see why. McGregor is a global icon, a proven draw in both MMA and boxing, and one of the most polarizing figures in combat sports. A crossover fight between the two would almost certainly break records, combining Jake's social media pull with McGregor's established fan base. But the question is, would McGregor take the bait? Known for his unpredictable behavior and sharp business sense, McGregor has flirted with the idea of returning to boxing before. His fight with Floyd Mayweather was a spectacle that brought in millions, and another boxing match could do the same. However, McGregor has also been selective about his opponents, and it's unclear whether he would see Jake as a worthy challenger or just another YouTube star looking to cash in. Jake's strategy has always been to blur the lines between sport and entertainment. He's built his brand by picking opponents who generate buzz, even if they don't necessarily have the boxing credentials to back it up. This approach has been wildly successful, drawing millions of viewers and keeping Jake in the spotlight. But it's also left him open to criticism from the boxing community, which sees his fights as more spectacle than sport.
Jake, does this ever happen? Obviously, it can't happen while he's under contract with UFC,
One,
right?
he's under contract, so there's never been any discussions around it. Two, I love Conor McGregor, always have. I was there when he was signed to the UFC. I structured his first major deal. We flew to Ireland to see him, to get him to re-sign. I think he's one of the greatest, sportsmen that the world has ever seen, and I respect him and his team highly. If he's ever not under contract, and I've said this to some folks that have asked, I think Jake Paul, Conor McGregor is the only fight that can come as close to Mike Tyson in terms of global relevancy. Global relevancy. I believe Jake Paul, Canelo Alvarez is a bigger money fight, for example. But I think in terms of every part of the globe paying attention as much as that they did with Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, that's Jake Paul, Conor McGregor.
The Tyson versus Jake Paul fight wasn't just a boxing match, it was a global phenomenon. With over 100 million live viewers tuning in, it became one of the most watched sporting events of the year. The pay-per-view sales alone brought in over $80 million, proving that Tyson's name still holds immense power in the world of sports entertainment. The event wasn't just about boxing, it was about spectacle, nostalgia, and the undeniable pull of two massive personalities going head-to-head. Tyson versus Logan Paul. Fans and analysts are already speculating about the potential showdown. Logan, a natural heavyweight with a significant height and age advantage, presents a much different challenge for Tyson than Jake did. At 6'2", Logan's size and youthful energy could put Tyson in a tougher spot. On the flip side, Tyson's experience and sheer grit could be the deciding factor if he steps into the ring again. Could Tyson become the first man to fight and defeat both Paul brothers? That's the question on everyone's mind. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. More videos are on screen now.